Welcome back to the channel, guys, and in today's Blender tutorial I'm going to be showing you step by step how to make open and closing curtains in Blender. So this is actually very simple, very beginner friendly, and it's probably one of the more fun cloth tutorials I've done. So yeah, we're just going to be taking a plane and we'll just give it some basic subdivision, pin a few points, and then we're going to be using some clever shape key animation stuff just to make it open and close at the top. Honestly, if that sounds complicated, don't worry, it's so much simpler than I'm making it sound. And when we're done, I'll be uploading this final result as well to my Patreon, so those of you in Patreon will be getting access. And also, just real quick, if you want to check in the description below, you can join Skillshare for free for 1 month using my link. I've got a lot of really cool tutorials on there on my actual Skillshare page that you guys can follow if you want to learn Blender more in depth. But for now, let's just jump into the tutorial and I'm going to show you how to do curtains in Blender. We'll be using the build 4.3, but other versions of Blender should work as well. So what we're going to do inside of Blender is we're going to select the default cube here, and we're just going to press delete on our keyboard. You're then going to go ahead and you're going to go Shift A. Go over to your mesh, add options, add in a plane. With this plane in your scene, you're going to go RX90, so RX90, and hit enter. Now we have a plane, but if we're going to make cloth, it needs some more topology. So we're just going to go ahead and press the tab key, or you can just come up here and go to edit mode. And once you're in edit mode, we make sure everything is active. You're going to right click and simply click on your subdivide option. Then come here to subdivide tab. And this is where you can make it look cool. So I'm going to go with a value of 60. Now, the more of these subdivisions you add, the nicer result you're going to have. Obviously, don't do something like 200. That'll just be like insane. But something like 50, 60 should be fine. Obviously, it depends also on your computer and how much processing your computer can handle. But something like anything from 40 to 60 should work just fine. I'm going to go with 60. Okay, so with that done, we want to select a whole bunch of points along the top here. We don't want to select every point here to pin, because what happens is later on when we relax it a little bit, we want the pinning areas just to be every other vertex. So essentially, if you want to understand it more simply, we're just going to have a point where the curtain's going to be hanging from, but we don't want every point. So a simple way to select every other one is, for example, to select the first one at the top, the first vertex, then holding in Shift, move up and skip 3 verts, so 1, 2, 3, and then holding and Shift click on the next one. And then what you can do is you can go Control Shift and then plus. So hit the plus key, so Control Shift plus, and just keep doing that, hitting the plus, and it'll keep repeating that selection pattern all the way to the end. There we go. Okay, so it's done that using that little technique. And now we're just going to go over to our object data properties. We're going to go click on plus here to create a new group, and let's just call it curtain pinning, because we're pinning these points, and we're going to go ahead and assign to that group. So make sure they're active and click assign with that group active. You can actually deselect everything and then test it by clicking here on select, and you should see all of those come up. Now we're going to go over to our physics here. We're going to go ahead and give this a, where is it? Cloth. We're going to click on cloth. We're going to come here to the quality steps and make it 10. Let's scroll down to our shape. Over here, we're going to come to the pin group, and let's select that curtain pinning group. We're also going to come over here to the shrinking factor, and we're just going to drag it down a little bit to like -2, around about there. And then we're going to come to collisions. Now, this is going to add a little bit more processing to the overall time that you have to cache. But the thing is, it's going to add a lot more realism. So if you click on self collision, essentially it's just going to tell Blender that the cloth also needs to interact with itself. Obviously, otherwise certain parts would just fold through other parts, which would be unrealistic. I would go ahead and just bump the quality up here to 5. The higher you go with that, the better collision interaction you're going to get. But in this case, 5 should do just fine. And now what we're going to do, we're going to tab back out into object mode. And we're going to come up here to the shape. And the thing we're going to look at is this shrinking factor. So we're going to come over here on our timeline. We're going to come to frame 1 and just hit the space bar. And let's see what happens. Okay, I'm just going to pause and hit Z. I'm going to make sure to go into solid. And you can see this is what we have. Okay, looking pretty good. I'm also going to right click and just go shade smooth. So you can see this is what we have with the shrinkage. I'm just going to go here and make it -0.32. Okay, I'm going to go back to frame 1 and hit the space bar. And I'm a lot more happy with these sort of folds here. Once again, if you're really lagging in the viewport, go ahead and make sure you don't use as high of a subdivision, but that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, so I'm going to go back into object mode. I'm going to make sure I'm at frame 1. For now, I'm just going to go over to my modifiers. I'm just going to go ahead and turn the cloth off in the viewport. Let's go over to our object data properties. And so we can open and close the curtain, which is the whole point of this tutorial, is we're going to go over here to our shape key and hit plus, and we're going to hit it again. The basis is just our reference base, so where all our points are to begin with. Then we're going to click on the shape key. The shape key is what you want to make active. I'm just going to double click on it and call it open slash close. Let's be honest, because that's what it's going to do for us, okay? You don't have to name it. It's just, I like to be organized. So what we're going to do now is we're going to give this, I guess we're just going to tab into edit mode with that open close selected. And what we're going to do, we're going to select this end vertex here. And then you're going to go Shift S with that vertex and the end selected. You're going to go cursor to world, or I guess cursor to selected. That's the one. So cursor to selected. So now the cursor sits here in the end. Then go over here and select the 3D cursor under the transform pivot. And in your front view, just select all of these top verts and then just go S and scale them in like so. There you go. Nice, but not all the way. Don't go too crazy. You can see we've kind of bunched them all up here. And then we're going to go back into object mode. And now what we're going to do, we're going to come here to our end frame value, make it 150 frames. And let's come up to frame 20. And in frame 20, with this cloth selected, we're going to come over here to this open close. And with a value of 0, we're going to click on this button here to make it yellow. That adds in a keyframe. We're going to come up to frame 70. And in frame 70, we're going to give this a value of 1. Click on this little animate property. It's going to go yellow again. And then let's come up to frame 120. And once again, with a value of 1 still over here, we're going to click on the animate property. And now you can see it creates this hold bar. It's this orange bar because both of these values are the same. So essentially, we call that an animation a hold because it's just going to be holding. And then we're going to come to frame 150. And so it can loop back. Let's just come here and give this a value of 0 now and click on the animate property. Okay, so now we have these keyframes. So we're going to come to frame 1. We're going to come over to our modifier. We're going to enable the cloth again. Then let's go over to our physics. Let's scroll down to our cache. Let's make it a value of 150. That's to match our end frame value here. So that's the amount of frames we're going to be caching. Make sure to save this somewhere. I'm just going to save it on my desktop. Highly recommended as this could potentially crash. And then we're going to go ahead and click on bake. Now this should take about a minute or so. I'll come back when it's done. There we go, it's now done. That took about a minute. So let's come over here to frame 1. You should now be able to hit the space bar. And now you can see this is the animation that is cached. Now, if you want to change anything, you're going to have to delete that bake, change your properties, and then bake again. But for now, this is much better. And we can kind of see it here and move around in real time. Okay, so let's quickly go over to our materials. And this is optional, but you can go ahead and create a new material. You can give it any color you want, but for me, I'm just going to click here on the base color. I'm just going to go to image texture and I'm going to find an image in my computer. So I'm going to click on open. On my desktop, I have this texture here. I'm just going to go open. Use any texture or image you want. Use a photo of yourself, your logo. Be as creative as you want, but that's what I'm adding. I'm going to come over here to the drop down up here under the viewport shading and I'm going to make it texture just so I can see it. And then just for fun, I'm going to click on plus and create a new material. I'll leave the base color white and I'm going to tab in here and I'll just kind of come in the front view and just select these bottom faces and I'll click assign and assign that second material. And then I'll come here to the top and just kind of select these guys up the top and I'm going to go ahead and assign that as well. I'll tab back out and now you can see this is what we have. Okay, very nice looking result. Pretty cool. What I'll do as well is I'll select the curtain. I'm just going to go to my modifiers, add modifier, search, and I'm going to type in solid and give it a solidify. So now you can see we have a little bit of thickness. Don't go too crazy. Obviously, we don't want it to look too thick. And then let's just go Shift A. Let's just add in a cube. And let's go to frame 1. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select that cube. I'm going to go G, X, just move it more in the middle. We're at frame 1 here. And I'm just going to go S, Z and scale it down. And I'm going to also change transform pivot to median again. So just something like this. This is completely optional. Then I'll go S, Y and flatten it. And I'll tab into edit mode and I'll just go over here, Control R, roll the middle mouse button, double click, just kind of scale it on the Y. This is completely optional, just kind of building this simple thing over here. And then I'm going to go to face select and select this face here. I'll type in F3 and go extrude, and I'll go extrude manifold and just kind of extrude up. And there we go, something like that. Honestly, you don't even have to add that in. I'm just kind of doing that as an extra decorative touch. But then I'm going to go back into object mode. I'm going to come here and start at frame 20 so we don't see that initial bunching up. So what we're going to get is just this sort of point here. So maybe I'll even start it at 28 maybe. There we go. So we want the first frame and the end frame to kind of match as closely as possible. Okay, so let's have a look at that. And then it goes back. There we go. Okay. And there we have it. That is how you can animate curtains in Blender. A very simple method. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I'll be uploading this finished blend file here to my Patreon. You guys can check that out in the description. Being a member on that helps support the channel as well. And yeah, thank you for watching.